bid you welcome, once and always contemplating a new subject, an old subject, a timely one that is necessary or important, or simply one to tantalize and delight. This day, we examine the subject of peace, inner peace, the kind that you would seek, the kind that you would hope for, the kind that you would wish to make your own every day and every way. Oh, only if it were possible. The kind of peace that seems nearly impossible, or the kind that you imagine that others have, but not you. The kind that you would imagine a monk, high upon a mountain top, devoted to their monastery, to a simple life, that kind of peace, the one that seems in a world beyond yours, the one that seems attainable, if only others would cooperate, if only life would give to you what you richly deserve, if only there were a little bit more time, a little bit less concern, a little bit less worry over this or that, if only others had done or would do those things that they could or would or should do. If only life were just a little bit different, a little bit less turmoil in life, please. Why so then? Why is it that the world seems arranged as if turmoil reigns upon the outer planes, and still the desire for inner peace? Why is it that turmoil would seem to win out, more often than not, over inner peace? What is it within you that allows one force to be more powerful, more potent, more in control than another? Is not peace, along with love and compassion, one of the great drivers of all things? Why would it not be more powerful, then, than the outer cacophony, the turmoil that surrounds you on the outer? And why not simply be able to shut it out, shut the door, shut it out, shut out the bright light, and let peace reign? Oh, if it were so simple, you would say. Well, so Gaia could say that it is that simple. But simple in the ways that all things are, in the ways that nature is simple, and still potent and powerful. Simple in the ways that 1, 2, and 3 go together, aligned so simply in their order. But just as simply do they become rearranged in another order, and you see, that is what you sometimes overlook. That peace and order are not the same. That while you may number 1 and 2 and 3 in such a way as they go together peacefully, ordered 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in their progression, oh, but nature can reorder them in many different ways and still see each combination very peacefully. And you see, there is where the difference is, that humanity does not see the reordering of things as peaceful. It prefers those things to be in their established order, in the way they're supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be, the way it's done, the way that one knows how it is and how it is to be arranged. So nature, you see, can arrange and rearrange itself in many different ways and still call it order, order rearranging itself, life remaking itself. Life would call it creativity. But in that same creativity, you would perhaps not call it so. You would say that is a chaotic order. Renumber those, reorder them, replace them the way they were, the way they ought to be. So you see, the outer world then is one that is always rearranging itself. What you call turmoil is only life rearranging itself into every possible combination, every possible way to make itself aware or unique, to distribute itself, to make itself into what it is and in its own unique and different way. It is not exactly turmoil, but to your inner being, to your inner sense of well-being, chaotic turmoil. When the weather changes and the storms come, it is turmoil for you. It is creativity, for the weather dances with itself. And lightning dances in the sky, but it seems to you as both beautiful and dangerous. Well, let it be for just a time, and then make it stop. It is enough turmoil, enough confusion. It is time to reorder the skies or the numbers or the thoughts. So you see, the thoughts are the same. Thoughts are creative forms of energy, making themselves into every possible combination. For they can. And instinct allows them to, invites them to. But for you, as you consider them, some thoughts are worrisome thoughts. Some thoughts are debilitating thoughts. Some thoughts are positive and others are negative, healthful or unhealthful thoughts. Open thoughts, or thoughts that lean toward opinion and even judgment and prejudice. But thoughts are simply creative thoughts. They have no energy of their own, save for the energy that you give them, that you allow them, for the room that you permit them to have. For indeed your thoughts are your thoughts to the degree that they are they and you are you. Thoughts then are the progression, the ideas, the contemplations that exist. And as they exist, they move out into the world, out and out and out into the world. And the further they move out, the more creative they become, arranging themselves in the way that they do. And in their arrangement, then, they affect you, some becoming very beautiful and creative, and others troublesome and disconcerting. So life makes and remakes itself, inviting you to participate in all the ways that you do and that you can. And this also is called turmoil at times. Recognize then that the outer world, your outer world, the one that you live in and join and participate in, the one that you take yourself into each day, is just that, creative environments where energy plays at playing and plays at being, at arranging and rearranging itself, like children, until they are told how to order themselves. Now it takes a bit of art, not expertise, but a bit of art to arrange thoughts and then to arrange experiences so that they become, in fact, carefully creative and crafted events in life, and so that they still remain creative rather than programmed into being. For when all things become too high, boredom-like, then that is when the mind will again free them, loose them out into the world to become, well, chaotic or frenzied or what they will be. So you see, the outer world then is something that you tether to you. You do not tie yourself to it, but you tether yourself to it. You arrange yourself with it. You compose it. You arrange it. You describe it. You make it into something that is beautiful and perfect for you. Life, then, outer life, is that. It is the dance of energies. It is the dance of celestial forces as they touch you, as they touch the earth, as they combine and recombine with the elements, with all available matter. And what matters, then, are thoughts. So as thoughts gather, as they accumulate in the corners of your mind or the corners of the earth, they begin to take form according to how thoughts are arranged. If they are ignored, well, a little bit like nature when it goes ignored and unmanicured at times, growing wild and out of control, until it is cut back, mowed, proportioned. Who does this? What does this? What is the force that tames the wild turmoil or the wild and chaotic mind? For in some ways they are one and the same. Well, there is in fact forces that are as peaceful as others are chaotic. And these peaceful thoughts then arrange themselves, make themselves into beautiful art forms. And in essence, that is what peace is. Peace is a form of art. Peace is not the control or the complete quiet of the mind. It is the arrangements of thoughts into coordinated, beautiful art forms that sequence life. Well, that is an interesting way to describe peace, would you not agree? Sequenced thoughts. Not ordered 1, 2, 3, sequenced, arranged in ways that are likable to the soul, if you like. Not contrary thoughts, ones that are joined and sequenced. Now, a flower, for instance, is sequenced. Yes, there is an order that it follows, but there is a pattern of life that it follows. That pattern, that sequence, is at times a peaceful one. That is why when you gaze upon an arrangement of flowers, there is a moment where you breathe in sync with that arrangement, with that tree, with that flower. That is the peaceful sequencing. There is a moment in which you breathe in the very same way that the flower or the tree breathes. In that moment you are soothed. It is an assuaging moment, one that allows you to dance in the hollow of life, to simply be. And in that moment life is filled and is full, and it is not hollow. For every moment and every awareness then is filled, and it is complete, and it is well, and it is well designed. So life then allows for both peace and turmoil. Whether it is an equal measure or not is determined by the awareness that each has in the arrangement of thoughts. Thoughts are arranged, just as you arrange words onto a page and sequence them so that they will make sense to the reader in either a technical way, an informational way, a creative or a dramatic way. The words are sequenced in such a way as to elicit a response. Energies are the same and thoughts are the same. They are arranged in ways that will either bring about a chaotic or a response out of turmoil, or within a capacity of peace. Thoughts are then sequenced, and so you will experience them in a different way. Therefore, the same thought, the same difficult or worrisome thought, I may not be able to pay the rent at the end of this month, for times are very lean now. That is a very present day thought, a very difficult, challenging thought. A thought that brings about turmoil, chaos, a thought that affects your gut, your heart. It wrenches the heart. It ties the mind's thoughts into knots. It brings fear and coaxes away creativity. However, that very same thought can be sequenced in a different way, so that it becomes rearranged onto the page or onto the page of your day, so that it says, I may not have enough funds to pay the rent this month. However, I believe, based upon all that I know and all that I represent, that it is likely that something will come about, that I may be able to do just that. Now, that is a peaceful thought. It is not a solution. It is not a thinking thought. See? It is simply a rearranging of the thought, the pattern itself. And as you rearrange the pattern of life itself, the thoughts themselves become peaceful. You see, here is an error that humanity makes. It believes that it must first become peaceful. No. Humanity is not, in fact, a peaceful species. Not now. In fact, it is in rare instant that the greater part of humanity has been peaceful all at once. There are times, there are races that have been peaceful more than others. But where humanity is concerned, it is not the general rule, it is more the exception. So in order to become more peaceful, it is in rearranging the patterns themselves so that the thoughts themselves become peaceful. For you or because of you or in spite of you matters not. They do so because it is possible for them to do so, because thoughts are natural forms. Thoughts are natural forms. And nature can be rearranged to serve you or to serve the greater whole. Peace serves the greater whole. Now, the outer world serves matter. The outer world serves the who. It serves the roles that you play, the lessons that you learn and study. The outer world is matter, what matters. The outer world serves those physical things and the thoughts that become physicalized, the thoughts that belong to today and tomorrow and the next day, the thoughts that are creative but have not yet been creative. And so the outer world serves them, but it does not have command over them, and that is why they seem a little bit more chaotic. And that is why you seek inner peace first, knowing that if you have inner peace, then you will be able to apply that inner peace to the outer world. It is much more difficult, as perhaps you already know, to discover outer peace and then to apply that to the inner world. The inner world, then, is more creative, lightly so. The inner world serves the what? It serves those things that matter but are not made of matter. Therefore, they do not, in their own way, matter. The inner world is creative as well, but it is a creative link. The inner world links the outer. The inner world is the bridge between here and there, this and that, between a thought and what a thought serves, between a thought and what a thought will become. Will a thought remain energy, or will a thought become a thing? The inner world and how much energy or pressure is applied to it determines this. The more inner peace that you have, the least amount of pressure is applied to a thought. Therefore, it travels more lightly. Imagine an aeroplane, if you like. The less weight you place upon it, the more lightly it travels, the more quickly it can travel or reach its destination with the least amount of fuel, if you like. Thoughts are the same. The less density or worry or concern or chaos that you apply to a thought, the more quickly it will reach its destination and become a non-thought or a completed thought. The more chaos or uncertainty that you apply to a thought, or that you allow others in your name to apply to a thought, the more it is bounced from here to there, and then bounced back to you. Think upon it some more. And then bounced to the outer world, which would say that is an incomplete thought. It is not ready to become a thought or a thing. It is only a worry or a concern thus far. And then it is bounced back to the inner world to consider it again. And you see? So the kaleidoscope becomes this and that, making one pattern or another, and instability reigns. So in order to have inner peace, one must create an inner landscape that is peaceful, one that provides a respite, one that travels more lightly. Just as on the outer plane, one would prefer to have a lighter footprint, for instance, what you would call your carbon footprint. A carbon footprint is what? How much effort you have made into the world, how much pressure or stress you have accumulated or left behind in your world. It is not simply how many possessions you call to your name that will be discarded later. That is simply the looser interpretation of it. The true footprint is how much matter or dross you have accumulated about you. And so what is the cure for the lighter footprint then, or the lighter landscape within? It is what is called mindfulness, or peace, or peaceful mindfulness. So inner peace then is the absence or the lessening of turmoil, of chaos. It is the creative rearranging of patterns and sequences into lighter forms that require less energy, less movement, less momentum, allowing them to rest, not immobilized, but in a creative stasis where they can be applied to anything. By contrast, a worrisome thought cannot be applied to anything. It is already working at full speed, thinking and churning, and trying to come up with a solution to this or that or the other, whether it is your problem or someone else's problem. But a mindful, peaceful thought is retained within. It does not belong to others. It belongs lightly to you. An inner, peaceful thought can be applied to anything because it exists as pure energy. It is not truly a thought about this or about that. It is a thought, a lighter thought, an observable thought, one that is not attached to this chain or to that past pattern, or hitched onto the wagon of someone else's worry or concern. Well, you are social beings, you might say. Of course I am concerned for my neighbor, my friend, my family, my mate. Of course I am concerned for them. Well, and so be it. Be in concern for them when you are on the outer plane, when you serve the who, when you are serving what is important in the outer world, when you are being the roles that you play. But the inner world, well, it belongs to you. It is your inner world. It is what you serve and what serves you. The inner world does not have a role. You are not a you in your inner world. You are simple awareness. You are pure awareness. There is no you by name in the inner world. It is simply the inner world, or the antechamber, if you like. The chamber that holds you, nurtures you, supports you, contains you, not what admonishes you, such as the outer world does. If you find yourself attempting to be in the inner world, and what you hear or think are thoughts that would admonish you or chastise you, or complain to you, or that you would complain to, that is not the inner world. That is the doorway still to the outer. It is not the way in. The way to the inner world, or the inner peaceful world, then, is in innocence. It is in simplicity. Innocence is not childishness. Innocence is that which simply is what it is, without attempting to be something else. It is comfortable being. The comfort of being is innocent, and innocence travels very lightly. What is mindful then? Mindfulness. To be mindful is simply to allow those things that are to be what they are. It is the mind observing the mind observing the mind. It is the being observing the being, which is being whole. You see? In essence, it seems as if it is removing, once removed, what you have already removed. A little bit of a paradox, but you will see it. If you will take your awareness, for instance, and place it just a little bit above you, and just a little bit before you or beyond you, you will observe you. Now take that same awareness and pull it back or forward just a little bit more, so that you are observing the awareness that was observing you. And you may pull back from that one more step, or beyond it again once more, and you will be observing again what has already been observed. Now the exercise in this is very comforting to some, discomforting, disconcerting to others. Because while you may move your awareness very far away from your body, from your being, and still have complete command over it, there are many that believe that they live in their body, or that who and what they are lives in and with and as the body. So to remove the awareness from it even a little bit is uncomfortable, and to observe it from a distance even more so. But I tell you that it is good practice, because if you can remove your awareness, you can also place your awareness. Perhaps you will see the immediate benefit of this. If you can remove your awareness from here and place it there, well, imagine that you could then experiment with placing it here and there, and somewhere else, and everywhere. A great benefit here. Peacefulness, then, is the ability to observe that which is being that which is. Peacefulness is not necessarily listening or speaking peaceful thoughts or words, for that is an activity. So the experience of being peace is that which is the observance of peace being peace, not peace becoming more peaceful, for that would be an indication of lack, as you might note. Mindfulness, then, is the presence of being peaceful. Peace is the presence of being mindful regarding peace. This creates a landscape, then, a thought landscape that is very light, that is buoyant, in fact, because it is innocent, because it is made of pure awareness, and that is peace. Now, what are we describing here? A meditation of sorts? Well, perhaps. And what is it to meditate, then? And how important, how necessary is it? For are you not often told how important it would be? Meditate daily. for 20 minutes, for 30, for 60 minutes or more. And how difficult it is for you, and how they will say, "But I cannot meditate, I cannot still my mind, I cannot still my thoughts, I cannot control it, I cannot sit still, I have no time, too many obligations." And well, you have your own list, don't you? And so the importance of meditation is simply the observance of peace, or in fact that peace does exist. It is not the necessity to be peaceful or to obtain it, to purchase it. It is notable. It is the observance and awareness that in fact it exists. It is. In spite of all other turmoil, any other unanswered questions, peace exists. Meditation, then, is notably observing that peace. Therefore, to meditate is not necessarily to speak out your prayers, your complaints, your wishes, your dreams, making certain that someone in there or up there or out there hears you for the umpteenth time. Meditation, then, is not a time to reiterate your affirmations or to restate them. Meditation, then, is a little bit like emptying the trash, isn't it? It is to observe that awareness exists. And when you observe that expansiveness, that light travels very quickly, as we have said. And very quickly it moves out and in, dispersing anything else that is not as light in energy as it. And yet it is not a doing thing. To meditate upon peace is not a doing thing. There is no process, not truly. You may give to yourself certain instructions if you like, and I may assist in that. And yet, how does one assist one another in emptying garbage? So meditation then, or meditation upon peace and mindfulness, is the allowance and accumulation of lighter thoughts with a permission of allowing them to be exactly what they are. So in meditation you observe thoughts without attaching yourself to them. A perfect meditation, then, is the perfect observance of what you are. It is to observe you being you without the necessity of being you, without naming yourself or your duties or your obligations, without describing the roles that you play or their relative importance. It is you without the you. It is you the being, you the innocent being. And that is both the pleasure and the purpose and the importance of meditation. If you do not meditate in this life or in this world, will you suffer? Is it a necessity to meditate? No. You may exist perfectly well without it. But I will tell you that in the process, in the rearranging, in the making of the pattern of meditation, there are benefits to be had, just as there are benefits to be had in a good night's rest, in a healthful sleep, or in the healthful intake of those foods and substances that would nurture you. There is benefit in the meditation. And the benefits then are cumulative, so you may not note them after the first time or the 10th time, but you will note them by the absence of a certain amount of turmoil that would otherwise accumulate, because remembering that meditation then allows for the accumulation of energy that keeps turmoil at bay or empties it out, empties out those thoughts that are less than necessary where you are concerned. Meditation, then, has its relative place. The difficulty with it is that for far too long you have been told how to meditate, what to meditate on, what to observe. This is the right way, the wrong way. You must do so for this many years or 20 years before you get it right, or like that. No, the benefits are immediate, but you may not note them immediately. You may not note them except in the absence of what they would promote. If you do not become ill, for instance, if you do not catch this week's stomach ache or this week's influenza or common cold, is it because you meditated and kept it at bay? You will not know, will you? Not truly. But perhaps it is that the observance of the innocent thoughts of your being kept the worrisome or turmoil thoughts at bay. 'Tis no guarantee, 'tis no gift in this. But there is benefit to it, as I have said. There is inner peace. Inner peace has its benefit in the outer world as well. So it is well worth allotting a small amount of time to. How small? Well, is 60 seconds too much to ask of your day? 1 minute? 30 seconds, I beg it of you. Will you give that to yourself? How often is Gaia asked, "What can I do for you, Gaia? You do so much for humanity. What is it that I may do for you?" Well, then I would ask this of you. Give it to yourself. You need not do it in the name of Gaia. Give to yourself 30 mindful seconds. 60 if you dare to be so generous with yourself. 1 minute to allow inner peace to carve the smallest place within you, a small space within you of observance. See how you observe a moment of silence for those who have passed on. How beautiful, how brave of you. Would you also observe a moment of silence to benefit and to extend the longevity of your life, to bring peace, resolution to other chaotic places in your life? Would you extend to yourself that same benefit, a moment of silence or peace? You do not require thoughtful, peaceful music, nor candles nor incense, though certainly there is beauty to all of this, and you may add what you will to it. But for 1 moment, a moment of silence, and matters not how exotically or exquisite the outer turmoil or the outer noise is around you. The moment of inner peace exists within, and within there is an entirely different world, the inner world, that serves something else entirely. So it matters not where you are sitting, what you are doing, or who or what is doing near you or about you. If you will say to that which you are, "I devote and dedicate this moment to that which I am," to that which creates peace and mindfulness, even if it escapes the thought process, the energy that knows what mindfulness is now rearranges itself for that which I am in this moment. This is meditation. This is contemplation. A contemplation, if you like, is meditation with your eyes open, so be it. Contemplate a tree, a bridge, a cloud, a star. Contemplate or marvel at a human body and how it is constructed, at a blade of grass. Contemplate for a moment the very movement of life, inner or outer. That is also a meditation. Contemplate invisible roots beneath a tree that you cannot see, the skeletal structure within your own body so carefully upholding and binding itself to you. Observe. Observe. Meditate, contemplate, observe. Observe what is secure about you. Observe with care how life in fact does rearrange itself brilliantly in some way, by some invisible mechanism, by what name you may call it. Observe that which is the sanctuary of an innocent thought, a playful one, a creative thought. Observe and observe that which you are observing, to make it memorable. This too is a form of meditation. Another form yet, that which we could call a salutation. Salute the sun if you like. Rise in a moment and look toward the horizon, where you would imagine the sun to be, near the horizon or higher in the sky. Find the horizon closest to where the sun is, to where the sun is rising or the sun is setting, and salute that. Salute that which rises and falls every day, in benefit to the earth or to humankind. Salute that which exists within you, that nameless thought that animates you each day, the you that you think that you are, whether it is the mind or the being or the soul or the spirit animus within you. Salute that. Namaste. I greet you. I see that which you are and that which is within you and about you and surrounds you. Salute that which animates the sun, for there is that which gives rise even to that. Salute the sun behind the sun. Salute the moon as it rises, piece by piece. In what way has it arranged itself? What form has it taken? How visible does it present itself? A sliver or its wholeness? What gift does it offer? The white of the moon, the tides that it brings, salute the moon, draw it to you, for its forces too make you what you are, making all of life possible, in fact. So a salutation, to salute the forces within and without, that too is a form of meditation, requiring oh so little precious time, see? There is something called permanence. Permanence. Permanence is that which is. It is that which you can imagine has always been. Imagine those things that could be permanent. Yes, all things are impermanent, but to the humanness within you, some things appear to be permanent. Of course, you know the sun will one day extinguish itself to be replaced by another, dark light or sunlight, but it appears to be permanent for the time being. Observe those things in your life that seem to have permanence, and give them their due, for it is a very unique kind of energy that brings about permanence. Permanence is earned. Permanence, like longevity, is earned. It is something that one draws to oneself. It has a structure to it. It has a slightly different atomic structure, those things that have permanence to them. They have earned a certain right. They are notable then, and that is a form of meditation as well. Immersion. Yet something else that is notable. When you immerse yourself in water, a pool or bath water, what it would be, you are surrounded on all sides. You have immersed yourself. You are surrounded by all of the outer until the barrier that you call you. Your body, for instance, surrounded by bath water, invaded upon by all sides, but oh look, how buoyant you become in water. So the process of immersion then somehow lightens you, because all of the density is absorbed by everything that is around you or about you. Therefore you become lighter. When you immerse yourself in study, you emerge more enlightened or learned or what it would be, because you have surrounded yourself by the forces and the powers that uplift that. You are surrounded by all of that subject matter. You absorb, you take in all the benefits of it. That is immersion. Immerse yourself in one thought, and that is also a meditation. Immerse yourself in the thought, for instance, that all, in fact, is well. Immerse yourself in that one thought, in that one idea, and you would see a grand difference, and that is a form of meditation. Something that we will simply call nature's way, for it has no other term that I can think of to offer to you. Nature's way is that which allows all things natural to be what they are, and then to be something else. For instance, in the way that a season gives way to the next season, something is lost in that. Light is lost, if you like, in the winter. It is nature's way, isn't it? Isn't it nature's way when a life is taken by one kingdom, by a predator of another? How sad, how awful, how lonely. But isn't it nature's way to give itself to something else? This too is a formula in your life. What is nature's way? What might nature consume in your life or take from you, even if in a predatory way, in order to free you to be or do something else? Nature's way must be contemplated. It is a form of study, truly, but it is something that you can give yourself to. Certainly this is more than a 30-second meditation, but it is a skill that I offer to you, and one that is well worth the learning. What is nature's way? Where does nature yield? And when you become fully aware that you in all ways are in fact an instrument of nature as well, that you in fact must yield or give yourself to something else, that too is nature. It is natural. It is not a sacrifice. It is a gift. What does nature gift your way? What does it ask of you? What does it invite of you? Nature's way, the way through and to, the path to all things. For every path leads everywhere in nature's way. Every being has every right to everything and every direction and every treasure in nature's way. But it requires a little bit of imagination, imagineering, to see just how nature can rearrange itself. Observe nature, and you will see the truth in this. Observe nature, place yourself within nature, for you too are a kingdom of the nature and the natural kingdoms. To this we add responsiveness. There's not an ability to respond or a need to respond. It is simply what you are. You are a response. You are a response to that which is creative. You have already been created, and so now you are creative. You have already responded, and that makes you responsive. So it is a reflex, you see. The ability to respond or to be responsive is a reflex in itself. It is what you are, it is what you do, it is what you be, it is what you come to be. So responsiveness is what you come to be when you become mindful. Responsive is what you are when you are peaceful enough to create or to co-create. So responsiveness is not exactly a meditation, but it is what is an outcome of meditation. It is The responsiveness in the outer world, you might call that peace. In the inner world, you would call it an inner sanctum or sanctuary or peace. In the outer world, you may call yourself responsive rather than reactive, if you like. So it is a natural outcome. It is observable. Your responsiveness, your reflex in the inner and the outer world. It is notable. And we speak then as well of thinking and feeling and sensing, for all of these as well belong to that realm within you. Thinking is not the same as having thoughts. Having thoughts is having thoughts. Thinking is the process that allows you to be what you are, to think. Think for a moment. Pure thinking is not the process of producing thoughts. So here I offer to you a different way to relate to thinking. Thinking is the process that the mind uses when it is being creative. The process of thinking, then, is a creativity of the mind. Thoughts are simply the outcome or the outproduction of a mind, but they are not necessarily creative thoughts or your thoughts. Many of the time they are just what passes through your mind or what passes as your thoughts. But you are not the signature of those thoughts, nor the creator of those thoughts, nor hardly the contemplator of them. You are simply one more along the line that passes it through to the next one. The production of thoughts, it travels round and swirls and belongs more to the outer turmoil, but has simply found its way in to your sanctuary, where it must be dusted out. How to dust out those thoughts is by thinking original thoughts that are your thoughts, original creative thoughts that come from the mind. The mind, the self, creates thinking. Thinking is what the mind is and what it does. Thoughts are what is left over after the thinking is complete. Eating, you see? When you eat a sumptuous meal, the very beautiful art of eating and tasting all of the sensations associated with food. What a luxury. What is left over on the plate? Well, that is the discard, or what is processed through the body or eliminated by the body. Perhaps a poor example, a poor metaphor, but perhaps you will take it in good order, in good thought. Feeling, sensing, to feel within. You see the sensations, the outer sensations of touch and sound and smell. All of the sensations then belong in their own way to the outer world. But how do you sense from within? Well, in some ways, in the very ways that Gaia does, by becoming a sentience. A sentience, as you may have heard described before, is that which feels and sees and knows and is all at once, without isolating one particular sense over another, without giving importance to one over another, not one species or one thought or one idea or one problem. A sentience relates to the whole, and because the sentience relates to the whole first, the part, or the parts that become whole, receive their due as well. But the sentience relates to the whole, to the at-once, to the at-one-ment of all things, contributing to the process, to the wholeness of all that is. This too, in essence, is a waking or making meditation. leading to inner peace. Why does Gaia have all that Gaia needs? Because it is a sentience. It already has and sees and knows what it most requires. It is already present in the one moment. It is actualized already. So this too is a way of bringing about inner peace. If you wish to doubt this, you may try a simple exercise that I will offer to you, where you can take away one of your senses, one at a time if you like, and you may experiment about with this. For instance, you may blindfold yourself for a time, thinking that would also limit you. You would think, oh, now I am less than I was before, poor me. But somehow you would see that the other parts of you that are as well a sentience, that in fact do all participate as a whole and all at once, that they would each offer a little bit more contribution to you, making you in some way more potent, more powerful, more aware, and in its own way more peaceful than when you had all of your sensory functions all together. And so to take away your vision for a moment, for an hour, what it would be, you would notice that the wholeness of the sentience that you are would support the whole. Take away the hearing and you will see things that you could not even imagine were there before. Go about without touching anything or anyone for a day, not even yourself, and you will feel in the air, the moisture of the air, or that which is a dewdrop, you would feel everything in it. Here I offer to you all of these experiments for your likeness, for your being. Will you cure the outer turmoil in your life? Not likely. The outer world prefers chaos. It is made for it. It is designed for it, and it can accommodate a great deal of it. You will find it difficult to quiet the outer world. But by moving into the inner world and finding a sanctuary there, a landscape that offers peace, a smaller footprint, the mindfulness to be and to observe rather than to do, all of these forms of restive, restorative meditation. You would find true benefit in this. I offer this to you. I offer to join you, but you would not know that I was with you. For you would want to converse, and I too would wish to converse with you. So the moment itself becomes a simple one, inner peace. And outer, well, you will find that that too will find a different path. Until the next moment, sweet ones, as always, peace be with you, and peace be with all. I bid you good day.